3 Common Mistakes by Yoga Newcomers. Whenever we start something new, we have a certain feeling of trepidation and uncertainty of the unknown, and in most cases it is completely unfounded, and we get on with things very quickly and easily. Sometimes it isn't, and a simple little thing can cause us to have an entirely negative first impression, and perhaps even never want to try that activity or pastime again. Yoga has so many health benefits, on both a physical and spiritual level, that it would be a tragedy for anyone to miss out on them, because they made a silly avoidable mistake on their first day. With that in mind, this article addresses the 3 most common mistakes of new yogi, and how to make sure they don't happen to you. Mistake 1. Not knowing what you want from yoga. The reality is that there are numerous different styles and forms of yoga, and each has its different attractions. Ask yourself what it was about yoga in general that attracted you, and then you can investigate a style that caters more specifically to that. You may like to set goals, be they physical, mental, or spiritual. If you do, then it's a good idea to discuss them with the instructor of your class before you begin. Yoga instructors are usually very approachable and happy to talk about their passion. They will be able to talk to you about your goals for the class and let you know if you are being realistic, aiming too high or too low. Make sure your goal includes a time frame so it becomes something that is measurable. Mistake 2. Jumping in feet first. Having decided that they will give this yoga thing a try, many people take a running leap and jump into a 12-month stage-by-stage class. These classes are usually an upfront payment arrangement and progress from one level to the next as the weeks progress. They are a fantastic way of learning yoga and becoming very good at it, but it's quite possibly you will choose a class that is not ideal for you. The best way around this is to join a yoga beginner class, also known as a drop-in class. If you do these classes for a few weeks, you will notice a high turnover of students as new people join and old people move on. These classes are designed to give you a very broad feel for the different types of yoga. The level of the students in the class usually varies greatly, so you can expect the instructor to keep the classes quite tame. The other key benefit of doing this is that the classes are pay as you go, so there is no big financial outlay for you while you decide the type and style of yoga that best suits you. You are also not obliged to attend every class. With the longer courses, you can fall behind quickly if you miss a week or 2 in a row. With the pay-as-you-go classes, you will find that while each class is different, the level stays quite low to cater for the newer people joining in. Mistake 3. Choosing the wrong teacher. Traditionally, a yogi had to be an apprentice to a skilled guru for many years before he could teach even the simplest of yoga technique. Nowadays, a 3-day course over a long weekend is considered enough by some people. There is a big difference in what you will achieve depending on the skills and abilities of the person teaching you. Yoga is starting to make a regular appearance on the sports injury list, and a large reason for this is instructors who have been taught just enough to be dangerous. A qualified teacher won't necessarily be fantastic, and an unqualified teacher won't necessarily be terrible, but the odds are certainly cast in that direction. So it's a good idea to check your instructor's background and qualifications before you begin studying with them. 3 ways yoga can benefit the business person. The lot of a modern businessman is a stressful one, and there is always so much to do. It would take a pretty compelling set of reasons to convince a successful businessman, or even an unsuccessful one, to add something else to an already packed schedule, so why would he even think about regular yoga classes? In this article, we examine the 3 main benefits of yoga and how they apply to the busy business person. Benefit number 1, physical health. All businessman's ultimate goal is to become wealthy, isn't it? Have you ever heard the saying that your health is your wealth? Believe me, it is true. No matter how much money you have, you cannot benefit from it if you are dead, and personal health is often neglected in today's busy corporate world. But the question is not whether one can afford the time for exercise to become healthy, it is whether they can afford not to. Health is a shifting scale. You are not either healthy or dead. It's important to think about how much your level of health affects your work. A healthy body will allow you to concentrate more, work harder, and increase the time you spend productively. Yoga is the perfect way for a businessman to look after their physical well-being. Because the exercises are so incredibly low impact, they can be performed even by the most out-of-shape person, and the more regularly they are performed, the better that person's health will become. Yoga is a very efficient method of releasing tension and stress. During a workday, certain blockages develop around the body, and many of our vital organs do not get the full amount of oxygen and nutrients that they need to function at peak efficiency. Yoga stretches different muscles groups in certain ways that will lead to these blockages being released, and the blood flow bringing the body's organs all the oxygen and nutrients they need. Yoga's health benefits are both immediate and long-term. In the short term, blood flow is increased and the body functions better because it is achieving the nutrients it requires. Tension is also released from muscles, and the body's lymphatic system is able to more effectively deal with waste products. In the longer term, these will be ongoing benefits, and the digestive system will also function more efficiently, which has innumerable health benefits. The general balance, coordination, and flexibility will also be greatly enhanced. Benefit number 2, mental health. Have you ever considered the importance of a breath? We know that when someone stops breathing, they die, and even this simplistic understanding should tell us how important it is to breath. But breathing properly is often ignored. It is vital not only for the numerous health benefits, but also for the strong mental advantages it allows us. Yoga sessions will usually begin with a standing, breathing exercise. The simple process of taking in a deep breath and releasing it slowly is incredibly calming, and the basis of the breathing exercises that are a vital backbone to the yoga discipline. The key to this breathing is that it draws our attention to the one simple action of breathing. We become very aware of the life-giving benefit of a deep and controlled breathing cycle, and are able to achieve a level of calmness that we often don't seek out in our everyday lives. That calmness itself is a stepping stone to achieving focus. The ability to focus is probably the single most important primary skill in a work environment. There is always so much going on around us, and so much that needs to be done, that it is difficult to focus on the single task we are doing because of the multitude of things in the back of our mind. Regular yoga teaches techniques to quickly clear the mind of all these other distractions, and then focus our mental efforts on a single task. It is also a great provider of personal discipline. The self-discipline that is learned from focusing on the body and becoming master of oneself is a key benefit of yoga. Benefit number 3, happiness. Happiness is a goal that is often sacrificed in the short term in exchange for some mystical point in the future when everything will come together and be okay. Yoga doesn't move you any closer to that mystical time, but because you develop such a strong sense of self and connection with yourself, it is common to become more content with your current situation. You will find that the more you practice yoga, the more you will be comfortable spending time alone, as well as amongst other people. Your sense of self-worth will increase, and you will perform better in social situations. This is perhaps the most important gift that yoga will give to you. For secrets to finding the right beginner yoga class for you. When you are new to yoga, you are probably going to be uncertain as to what to expect when you first enter a beginner yoga class on your first day. Most people are uncertain about what they should even be looking for in a beginner yoga class, so this article will let you in on the 4 secrets to finding the right class for you. Secret number 1, decide on what you want to achieve before choosing a style. The number of different reasons for taking up yoga is usually at least as high as the number of new people in a yoga class. Broadly, people will be looking for one of 3 things: physical health, mental health, or spiritual health. All 3 are important, and all 3 are realistic goals in a yoga class. Whatever it is you are trying to achieve through yoga, there will be a class and style that is suitable for you. You can research in a library, online, or even by asking various yogi, and this will help you find the yoga that will get the best result for you. It's worth actually setting some solid goals, and many newcomers are surprised at how willing a yoga instructor is to talk over these goals with them and discuss whether they are realistic or an alternative may be better suited. Secret number 2, join a class-by-class program. These are sometimes referred to as drop-in classes or pay as you go. These are a good way of getting a feel for yoga. There will be a regular turnover of other students in the classes, and the contrasting level will mean the instructor will keep the classes at a relatively mild level and give everyone a taste of many different aspects of yoga. The advantage of this method is, of course, that you are not committed to an expensive series of classes, and you can get a taster for yoga and see what types of yoga interest you. You will also quickly learn whether the goals you set earlier are realistic for you, or even too low and need expanding upon. Your next step will be to choose a series of classes in the areas that you found most suitable from the drop-in classes. These classes will build on each other from week to week, and you may find yourself behind if you miss a week. Secret number 3, ensure that you are being taught by someone who knows what they are doing. Surprisingly enough, considering the relatively low intensity and the many physical benefits, yoga has begun to regularly show up on the statistics for sports injuries. 2 key causes are identified. Firstly, students pushing themselves too fast too soon, and secondly, instructors with inadequate training or appreciation of the individual level of their students. Large classes are sometimes to blame for this. When you are considering a new class, don't be embarrassed to ask your yoga instructor what their qualifications and background are. Many instructors have nothing more than a 3-day training course in gym yoga, and many people put this in the enough knowledge to be dangerous category. Traditionally, a student would train for many years under a guru before they would be considered fit to pass on even the simplest of yoga techniques to another novice. The Yoga Alliance is a United States organization that features a register of teachers who have completed appropriate training. This means having completed courses that meet a certain standard. A nice rule to work by is that less than 200 hours of instruction would mean a part-time yoga education. Secret number 4, be aware of hidden costs. An unpleasant surprise that can put people right off yoga is turning up to the first class and finding that there are expenses that they haven't allowed for. Some studios require each student to have their own mat, a special strap, or other props. Some classes will work through a book which you are obliged to buy, and some classes will have a dress code ranging from specific colors to specific articles of clothing. Being unaware of any of these things and being refused your first class because of them can be very off-putting. Frequently asked questions on yoga. Yoga has been around for an incredibly long time, and over that period different practitioners have added their own refinements and styles into the basic yoga discipline. There are so many different styles now it is nearly impossible to count, but they all stem from the same core philosophy and methodology. Unfortunately, the multiple different styles often lead newcomers to the exercise discipline to become very confused as to what they are doing and what they can hope to achieve with yoga. In this article we answer some of the common questions. What is yoga? This question is the most common from newcomers. Most people have a general idea, but they are not sure where yoga fits into the world. Is it an exercise? Is it a philosophy? Is it a form of physical therapy? Is it a spiritual process? The answer is that to different people yoga is all of these things. At its core it is a group of exercises and poses which are very low impact and work by strengthening the body and increasing its flexibility through static exercise. This means that each pose will stretch a certain area, and the body benefits from this stretch by increased blood flow and energy release. Many of the exercises release tension from areas of the body that regular activities do not cater to. Because yoga is performed slowly and with a strong emphasis on correct breathing patterns, there is also a strong mental and spiritual element to the exercise. It is seen as a way of cleansing mind, body and spirit. Do I need to be religious to get the most out of yoga? As mentioned above, yoga is different things to different people. There are many people in the world who perform yoga purely for its spiritual benefits. There are many others who perform yoga purely for the physical benefits associated with it. What you get out of yoga will depend largely on your mindset, your openness to new ideas, and your ability to let yourself fall fully into a meditative state. For some people this is very difficult at first, but that is still not going to prevent them from getting the physical benefits associated with yoga classes. You will find that even if you do not have any strong spiritual base, you will still benefit from an increase in your self-confidence and personal contentment. Where can I do yoga? Practically anywhere. Many people practice yoga in their homes every day. Others will go to the local park and practice yoga with a group of friends. To begin with, it's a good idea to inquire at your local gym about yoga classes. Many of them will be holding yoga every day. Even if they aren't, they will be able to tell you where the best place to learn yoga is. Some local councils sponsor yoga classes in their area in recognition of the benefits to people who exercise regularly. One of the big advantages of a yoga-based exercise regime is that there is no expensive equipment to buy and then store around your house. Some poses are assisted by cushions to support the body, but in general the only thing you need is your body. I'm not very fit. Is yoga for me? Yes. Very much so. One of the fantastic things about yoga is that the exercises and poses you will learn can be adjusted to your level. Fitness isn't usually a problem because the exercises are slow and often static, but your body will become better at performing them over time as your strength and flexibility improves. Knowing your limit and ensuring that you don't ease up out of habit gain the best benefit. Hopefully you will now have a good understanding of what yoga is and why you should be doing it. Remember that yoga is something that once learned can be practiced anywhere you like and as often as you like. Indeed, this is one of the key components of yoga's popularity.